Hello everyone and welcome back to another devlog. Also apologies if my audio sounds really bad. I actually don't have a real microphone with me right now, so just bear with me here. As some of you might know, I recently moved into a new apartment to start a computer science degree at university, so I haven't exactly had a lot of development time in between setting up my new house and exploring all the new stuff around where I live. And more now than ever, a huge thank you to all of my patrons and supporters. It means a lot to see more and more of you join the community and support my work every day. So now that you know what's going on, let me tell you how university could ruin the chances of me finishing my game and why there's a chance I might have to completely stop development of Earthward. Some quick backstory here, and I promise this is all relevant, so just stick with me. Back near the end of 2021, I started considering game development as an actual career or job. I was learning a lot, improving at an incredibly rapid rate, and was enjoying pretty much every minute of it, except when I lost a week's worth of work, but we don't talk about that. It was around this point that I was getting super interested in the artistic side of game design, as opposed to the more mathematical part of game design like programming. I honed my art skills and seriously improved to the point where I was able to make professional looking art and animations. I picked up the piano and even took cello lessons, which actually ended up being really helpful since one of the main musical motifs in Earthward is a cello melody. I remember recording the cello after practicing for a few months and then realizing that I loved music just as much as everything else I was doing. And so I was presented with the best kind of dilemma, choosing between my favorite subjects. At this point, I had also already applied and been accepted into a few colleges, two of them being art schools and one a design and computer science school. I weighed the pros and cons of each option, and believe me, it was a hard decision. In the end, I decided to major in computer science for several reasons. One, there's more job security as a programmer since they're in such high demand and there are so many different positions you can fill. Two, I struggle learning math on my own, so having a bunch of professors there to help me would be very beneficial. Three, art and music are things I found I had an easier time learning on my own, meaning I could practice drawing and composing in my spare time. That way, I could also keep some things as hobbies because sometimes turning a hobby into a job isn't always the best idea. The school I'm going to has a reputation for having a huge workload and being incredibly difficult and sedentary, but I'm not here to talk about that stuff. The point is, I knew going into it that I wouldn't have much time to do my own stuff or work on my own projects, especially since I've been trying really hard to become more aware of my physical health and well-being, which after moving in with three other roommates who are also computer science majors is something I've noticed programmers are either really good at or really bad at. With so much to do, it'll probably reduce the amount of time I can work on Earthward by at least 60 to 80%. I can promise you this though, Earthward will be finished at one point and I will share it with the public. I put a lot of heart and soul into this game, and there's so many nuances and things nobody knows yet that really sets it apart from other games. And who knows, maybe it won't be as difficult as I expect it to be, but I like to assume the worst so that I'm always prepared. Okay, now let me share some of the changes I made to the game, but not too much. I'm gonna have to ration the clips a little bit from now on. I smoothed out world generation a ton, and it feels way more natural. The tile sets are also way less noisy, and there are only one or two auto-tiling bugs left. I also took the comments' advice, and made the game a little bit less dark. I also added more life into the game. A bunch of critters spawn throughout the world, but the snail's my favorite because if you're not careful enough, you might accidentally step on him. NPCs are also way more dynamic in the way they talk and move. You can now whack them, but I'd be careful because I made their AI really strong. This is because when you kill them, they drop the weapon they're holding, alongside a ton of EXP. And yes, this does include the merchant, but good luck killing him when he's got a baseball bat. Each area has its own respective portal. These portals lead to unique sub-areas that contain special loot and also boss fights. The portal in the Faded Forest transports you to the Lake of Tears, which has a significant amount of water pools, as well as some rain in the background. My plan for these sub-areas is to have an arena in each one, and when you defeat the area's respective boss, you can collect an enchantment. Enchantments are unique equipment items that grant the player special powers. Only one can be worn at a time, so you're gonna have to choose carefully. Or you can use the new Void Storage. A long time ago, an explorer just like the player was trapped underground, and failed to escape before succumbing to the elements. Out of pure desperation, this explorer used forbidden magic, saving his life, but cursing him forever, turning him into pure sentient magic. By interacting with it, the player can open the Void Storage, a special container that not only saves your items after you leave the area, but also after death. However, this now trapped magical traveler is very annoyed with their new permanent condition, and so they sometimes get a bit feisty. As a result, they might decide to just straight up throw out some of your items after you die. Sucks for you, they say, but if you're lucky and you play your cards right, you'll be having a good time in your next run. I also completely redid the bee AI. Angry bees now shoot a glob of honey, which gives the player slowness if they get hit. Some bees can also spawn as battle bees with a helmet, which increases HP and knockback resistance. The combo of these two is frightening. There's a lot of other changes that I'll talk about later. Make sure to join the Discord and subscribe to be notified of future videos. And as always, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.